And so don't allow yourself to be put in a psychological vice that squeezes the spirit out of you, that squeezes the pride to be a Muslim out of you. وَلِلَّهِ الْعِزَّةُ وَلِرَسُولِهِ وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَلَكِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. So there's honor, there's nobility, there's dignity for Allah and His Messenger and the believers, but it's the hypocrites who realize it not. Those are not your crime, brothers and sisters. And to get an idea of how we handle these situations, we have to return to the Quran. We have to return to the seerah of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They were inflicted with a terrible setback at Uhud. But Allah Ta'ala revealed to His Prophet and encouraged His Prophet to tell them to rally, not to go out to fight. And this is a psychological lesson we're making, not a military or strategic lesson. If someone wants a lesson in Sharia, they want to know what Sharia means. For us, in this country, it means there's no way, there's no avenue possible for us to engage in any act of violence against our fellow citizens. There's no avenue in our Sharia. That's Sharia. There's no avenue whatsoever. None. So we're making a psychological point. So then the Muslims were devastated at Uhud because the victory was close within their grasp. And then Khalid bin al-Walid led the well-known charge around the Muslim flanks, and devastation and havoc was wreaked upon the Muslim ranks. And so the defeat was snatched from the jaws of victory, which made it more crushing. And then the Muslims went back into Medina and they were ridiculed by the hypocrites and their allies, which just added to the psychological weight of the defeat. And immediately after that, the Prophet ﷺ, he told these battered and demoralized Muslim forces to rally themselves and to march out of the city. And Allah Ta'ala mentions this in the Quran when He says, الَّذِينَ اسْتَجَابُوا لِلَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا أَصَابَهُمُ الْقَرْحُ لِلَّذِينَ أَحْسَنُوا مِنْهُمْ وَاتَّقَوْا أَجْرٌ عَظِيمٌ. So those who responded to the call of Allah and His Messenger after they were afflicted with this grave injury, meaning the defeat of Uhud, and those who responded, they have good in their religion. And they have taqwa, they have piety and consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they will have a great reward. So the first lesson we can take, brothers and sisters, is that we have to strive for that excellence that is represented by the higher levels of the religion. And a state of being where we remain connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with so much strength, it's as if we can see Him, as if. As our Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam defined the term, فَأَخْبِرْنِي عَنِ الْإِحْسَانِ لِلَّذِينَ أَحْسَنُوا مِنْهُمْ. Tell me about ihsan. فَقَالَ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ أن تعبد الله كأنك تراه فإن لم تكن تراه فإنه يراك. That you worship Allah as if you see Him, and if you fail to see Him, be mindful that He observes you. So we should keep working on ourselves and keep purifying ourselves so that this state of being that provides us with this degree of connectedness with Allah grows within us. And that's regardless of our circumstances, regardless of whether the times are good or bad, easy or difficult, stressful or relaxed. وَاتَّقَوْا, and they have taqwa. Again, taqwa is a quality, consciousness of Allah Ta'ala that translates into obeying His orders and avoiding the things that have been prohibited, that He has prohibited. This isn't something that comes and goes with the vicissitudes of time. It is something that should be permanent with us, as our Prophet ﷺ reminded us. Ittaqillah, as related by Mu'adh ibn Jabal, wa Abu Dhar, ittaqillah haythuma kunt.